Welcome back to the Takeout. Some housing numbers, and brace yourself. There's going to be more than one or two numbers, so pay attention. A third of all American households spend more than 30% of their income on rent or mortgage payments. Rent has increased 35% since the start of COVID lockdowns. The median age of a first-time homebuyer in America is now 40 years old, up from 31 years old in 2014. So what to do? Jared Bernstein joins me now. He's a senior fellow at the Center for American Progress and co-author of a paper on how to rapidly increase housing supply in America. Jared, I should also point out, was chair of the Council of Economic Advisors under President Biden. Jared, good to see you. Let me do you a favor. Ask you to acknowledge up front that on the credibility score, someone who worked for the Biden administration has some explaining to do while this problem was allowed to continue on your watch.
Yeah, no question. We were certainly trying to make the kinds of policy plays that we talk about in the report you just mentioned, but we were definitely unable to legislate them. We actually got pretty far, but at least at one point, Senator Manchin blocked the vote on this. So it is unquestionably the case that we can't move forward without congressional support. And that's where these policies that I'm happy to take you through really start out.
So one of the things I noticed is essentially identifying a numerical goal of increasing housing stock over a 5-year period. But 5 years is a long way away. Why can't it happen faster?
Oh, we think it can happen faster. We think we can start adding units within a year or two. But to do so, we're going to have to get a lot of states and localities and cities and towns to do something they haven't done for decades, which is to pull back some of the regulatory sludge that keeps them from building affordable housing in a quick and efficient manner. And, the American people, they want to see a delivery here. Your question is very, I think, on point. And in order to hit those delivery marks quickly, we suggest that we make a deal with these communities. We sign what's called an affordability contract. We will help them finance the building of affordable housing, and we will, right out of the gate, start helping people with assistance on their rents, which, as you mentioned, has grown quickly, if they take down the barriers to building that are making building so expensive and are responsible for this 2 million unit shortfall that we document in our piece. If they fail to keep our end of the contract, they actually lose grants, transportation grants, Commerce Department grants. So this is a carrot and stick approach. It's one that hasn't been tried before.
Jared, let me get really nerdy with you on this, because my home state of California has gone through a lot in terms of a affordability crisis and supply crisis. And jurisdictions like my hometown of San Diego have encouraged building auxiliary domestic units in backyards of existing single-family homes, which sounds great, but some of the problems are this. In a backyard, units of 4 and 5 and 6 dwellings are going up in backyards, meaning 6 units in one backyard. There's no infrastructure for that. There's no parking for that. And this stresses out communities and creates a political backlash that is resistant to the very thing you just described about this grand bargain with states and localities.
Right. There's a right way and a wrong way to do this. The wrong way to do this is to try to jam units into places that don't have the infrastructure to support them. The right way is for the federal government to work with states and localities, to work with local programs. By the way, that's another part of our report where we suggest helping to capitalize local programs that are already making a difference with public-private funds for subsidized affordable housing, to do that together in a way that involves planning around the very problems you mentioned. We actually have a supportive fund in our plan to help with infrastructure, to help with sewers, and to help with roads and even slots in schools. By the way, this is also part of the ROAD Act, that thing we're just talking about right now, that supportive fund, which is a bipartisan act. So at least there are members on both sides of the aisle who are recognizing the dysfunction you just described and recognizing that we need a bold way to move forward, where in high-cost areas signed an affordability contract with the federal government. They live up to their part, start building units. We live up to our part, helping to finance those units and help their renters who are stressed with affordability.
And when it comes to homes, where do you come down on this idea recently floated of a 50-year mortgage?
It doesn't do what you and I are talking about. It doesn't increase the supply of housing. The reason we're in the hole we're in is it's not complicated. It's Econ 101. We have at least 2 million shortfall of units in general and affordable units in particular. And a 50-year mortgage just means that it's going to take you that much longer to build up any home equity. And if the interest rate on that mortgage goes up, which it would, it's going to cost more to lock up 50 years than 30 years. Even any monthly payment benefit you might get from that longer maturity starts to fade pretty quickly. Look, the only way to make progress here is to build more housing. And that's why our programs here, we haven't even yet talked about manufactured and modular housing. It's a very important solution that some other countries are getting the hang of. We're way behind on that. That's another path to affordability. Affordability contracts between the federal government and localities, helping to build on to some programs that are already working in some of these areas. Modular manufactured housing, all of them are targeted at increased supply. The 50-year mortgage idea doesn't get you there.
Center for American Progress's Jared Bernstein. Jared, always a pleasure. Thank you.